All right, hey guys, welcome back. I hope you were able to answer the question from our previous lesson in our Math Discord Google document under assignments in the classroom. We're coming back. We're starting on page 104. So student, oops, let me get my writing pencil. Student page 104. I've posted the continued I can statement because remember we're still working on rearranging formulas, and this time of familiar fonts. And we're gonna keep evaluating what can we make the constant variable in order to give us the information that we want. So the area A of a rectangle is 25 inches. The formula for area is A equals length times width. I'm right here under example number 1. I know from before from other classes that area equals length times width. So when I take the length, L stands for length, and I take the width, W stands for width, of any rectangle, it's going to give me the area, or the entire inside surface of this rectangle, right? And so it's going to, now our problem is going to give us some information that we can use to rearrange this formula. So if the width is 10 inches long, oops, 10 inches, what is the length? So we need to figure out what the length is. All right, so we know a few things. We know some things about this formula. We know the basic formula is always area equals length times width. They've told us what the area is. We know it's 25. And we know what the width is, but we don't know what the length is. So we're going to represent that with a symbol or a letter to help us, that will later help us to determine the value that it could be. So length, we're not sure. I'm just going to keep it as an L, times width, which is 10. All right? So if the width is 10 inches, what is the length? So we're back to a basic equation. We're going to solve this. So I'm just going to rewrite it for a little bit of clarity. It's a little crunched over here. So we have 25 times 10 times L. Remember that commutative property of multiplication, it doesn't matter what order I write these, can go either way. I know that I want to now, my constant is the L. I want to solve for L, because that's the piece of information I don't know. So to do that, 10 times L, I have to get the 10 to the left side of my equal sign. I'm going to do the opposite, and that's to divide. 10 divided by 10 is 1. We 1'd it out, which means we would cancel. And on this side, 25 divided by 10. This leaves us with 25 over 10 equals L. Now, we can keep it like that, but we always want to ask ourselves, can I reduce that? And yes, we can. We can reduce that to length equals 5 over 2. You can express it either way, right? When we solved it, our answer can be 25 over 10 equals L, and L also equals 5 over 2. Both of these are equivalent. It's just different ways of writing them. And 5 over 2 is the simplest way. If the width W is 15 inches, what is the length of L? So right here, if the width W is 15 inches, what is the length of L? Again, we know some of our information. Let's see if this helps my writing. Let's try this. All right, we still know our basic formula. The formula is always area equals length times width. Remember when there is a letter and a variable next to each other? Nope, that's not going to work. My writing is so bad, guys, it cannot possibly be picked up by this smart notebook. So area equals length times width. So again, we already know the area, 25 inches squared. Equals, this time, they're letting us know what is the length. The length in this scenario is 15, but they're not telling us what the width is. So we're going to make the width our constant so that we can determine, so we're going to determine the relationship between the length and the area. So we know the length is 15 times W. I'm just going to hold my variable there because I'm not sure what it is. And like we did before, now I know W is the constant. I'm going to solve for W. So 15 times W, I know I need to do the opposite because I divide by 15 on the right side of my equal sign. I've got to do it on the left side. 15 divided by 15 is 1. 1 cancels out. 25 divided by 15 over here. I wonder if I can simplify it. So if I look in my book or go to a calculator, or you guys can just do it based on some of our prior held knowledge of figuring out what common factor they both have. I know that a common factor between 25 and 15 is 5. So I'm going to divide both of them. I'm working this way now. So I kind of tackled the problem, got the answer, and now I'm going to the left. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So my final answer is width equals 5 divided by 3. Right? Now, rearrange the area formula to solve for L. So this time, they're just telling us to go back to our original area formula. So if we have area equals length times width, how can we get that L by itself? And to do that, we're going to divide by W on both sides of the equal sign. So here, W divided by W, and area divided by W. When we do that, W divided by W, or any number divided by itself, is 1. They won out, which means they cancel. And our final formula we can write as A divided by W equals L. So in the next problem, they're asking you to verify that you can see in your book. The next problem you can see in your book, they're asking you to verify that these formulas solved for L give the same result for L as having solved for L in the original formula. All right, let's see how I get that. I'm going to pause.